He's at
Curious how
karaoke.
you
He's like,
guys
"Hey, do y'all
feel-
have
He's like,
Mean
"Yo,
Bean
Tetris,
Machine
dun,
Track
dun,
3?"
dun, 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 dun. Welcome to New Game Plus. This is a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name is Kenny.
I'm Nolan.
And this is episode 387. Question of the week. What
Hit me.
old video game do you still play obsessively?
Okay, there are a couple, and it's this. I don't even want to say.
It's embarrassing?
Yeah, it is embarrassing. And when you say old, what do you mean old? How old?
Retro, 15 years old or older, but
15, okay,
wiggle room.
15 years old or older. I play Mega Man 2
That's
about every 6 months.
How is that cringe? That's like a great answer.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
but
there's nothing wrong with that.
okay, fine. Then good.
I feel bad.
I played it-
I feel good about yourself.
I play it every about 6 months. Like I just get a Mega Man itch, and that's the one I go to. I don't go to the other ones because we could play them on the show, and I kind of want that to be more of a fresh experience. So I just play the best one.
The first stage, because you can't possibly beat it because it's way
I
too
beat
hard.
it easy every time.
Easy. Wow. Kenny.
This one's not surprise. I'm not dropping new in GP lore or anything, but I still play StarCraft occasionally.
That's a great Brood War.
Brood
StarCraft
War.
Yeah.
Wait, is that real?
Specifically like mods of the game,
Yeah.
more than the actual like core gameplay itself.
We knew that.
Is
I
that
literally like did that this weekend.
It's the most boring game of all time. But
No. I'm glad that you're still. Do you ever play any of the old Civs, or are you on a newer Civ? That because you still play that.
No, I'm on the latest one.
Okay.
So that doesn't count. I mean, Civ 6, by the time it's all been said and done, the like initial release might be considered old
Sure.
now. I don't know.
I still go through most of the classic Final Fantasies every couple of years. And with the pixel
Yeah.
remasters, it makes it even easier and quicker and better, all of those things. But, and this is a little bit cringy and you're going to make fun of me because it's ridiculous,
I
admittedly.
mean, maybe not.
But when I need to zone out and relax, I still have on my desktop, ready to be played at any time, Tohu 7 Perfect Cherry Blossom.
That is cringe, but only because it's like anime.
It is safe anime.
It is not
is.
safe anime, brother.
Absolutely. They
It's
are all
little French-made girls flying through air shooting bullets out of their
Oh,
body.
you're making me want to play it right now.
That's funny though, and I get it. That's a sit down and play arcade style kind of,
That's a
Bullet
calm, zone
I
out,
don't-
zen
Yeah.
kind of experience for
It
me.
is nothing calm about it.
Not for Kenny.
I don't understand you, but I'll let you still be.
There is at least one person in our community that would agree with me that
Garlo,
that is the
sure.
go-to.
Well, sure.
Garlo can't be trusted when it comes to anime games.
When you have time and you want to revisit a game, or you want to zen out, or you want to just bring back old memories, what game do you still play obsessively? Let us know in our Discord. We've got a whole thread there with question of the week, and you can let us know what game you still play obsessively. But on this podcast, those are the games that we play. A pod for legumes and beans and nuts, maybe? They are like the outer shell, outer casing.
So on beans, it's really thin. It's like skin.
Yes.
Okay.
But it is on pod. Y'all don't like it?
No.
It's all right.
It's y'all are you being mean to me?
There's the second part. Okay, say it.
That's better.
Being
That was
mean
better.
to me? Like
That was better.
Like in our retro game of the week, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Overview.
I'd like to formally refer to this week's game as Dermbum from here on out.
Is that a mashup of all the first letters?
Okay, unanimously
Veto.
agree?
What? No.
Excellent.
Veto.
Excellent. So Dermbum was developed by Compile and published by Sega. Now, Compile is mostly known for creating the Puyo Puyo puzzle game. They now work under Compile Heart and make some heinous anime games. And I say that because I checked out a few of the titles, just curious. Saw the cover art, and the first word that came to mind was heinous. But just quick side note on the current state of this developer. One of their games is called Monster Monpiece, and it's a card battle game. Like, throw out your monster card, they battle, kind of cool. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh style.
Okay.
But there is an extreme rub mode where the player turns the PS Vita sideways and rubs and pokes the screen with a girl on it to take her clothes off. So yeah, heinous.
This is a family-friendly podcast.
Puyo Puyo. And then, okay. Back to this game. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Based on the title, one could assume that this would be considered a Sonic game. So let's do this. Boys, is this a Sonic game?
Yes.
Of course.
It is, of course. Yes. It is Sonic's IP. There's no conversation
Where is
about
Sonic?
that.
Where is he?
Correct. So I don't know, but this is at least one of, if not the only, Sonic the Hedgehog game that does not have the titular character in the game or referenced at all.
At all. So confusing why they chose to do that. I don't have an answer.
It works for me, doing a little villain shout out. Like,
I'm all about the villain.
There's-
They could have easily fixed this because in Puyo Puyo, you are a character going through these challenges. Would have been very simple to just make us the Sonic character and have Sonic show up in the little, I'm going to very lightly say this, cutscenes in between each of the battles.
Something.
Something.
Something. Put him in the background.
I'm okay with no Sonic in a Sonic Universe game.
Okay, well, you might be the only one. This game came out for the Genesis in 1993, and it is the westernized version of Puyo Puyo, which is a puzzle game in Japan for the MSX, actually, which is a home computer system that we haven't played a game on. Now, I think many in 2023 would then ask, what is Puyo Puyo? Because it's not as well known as what we usually play for puzzlers like Tetris and Dr. Mario, maybe. Well, we'll get to it in gameplay because it's essentially in the Tetris category of falling object puzzle games. And I'll leave it there so we have something to talk about in gameplay.
I do think we should make abundantly clear that this is not a nod to Puyo Puyo. Like, I don't know if you have seen the images or gameplay of Puyo Puyo, but this is just a reskin of the first Puyo Puyo game. Like, and not everything is even reskinned.
No, it's copy paste literally.
Yeah, it's the game exactly with the characters replaced with characters from the villains lineup in the Sonic universe.
That's all. No skin is changed of the backgrounds or of the beans or of anything else. Like, it is the exact same thing. So it's just different opponents. That's the only thing that's different.
But what is different is the story. And the story is that Robotnik is trying to get rid of music and fun. Just the most. That's it. And his latest creation, the Mean Bean Machine, is going to help him do this. Japan thinks we're brain dead, dude.
They just had to make something up.
And we are. I don't know. This was not my first time playing Puyo Puyo, as I've been messing with Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, which is like a really recent Sonic team developed game on the Switch, and it's great. I am better at Tetris, I'll say, but have y'all played Puyo Puyo before this week?
No.
Of course not. It's a Sonic team game?
Yeah, Sonic Team. It's like poetic. Everyone's like, it's poetic that they now own the IP to make like
Interesting.
to make those games. So it's a collaboration of Tetris and Puyo Puyo, but Sonic Team makes it.
While I haven't played any Puyo Puyo games, I do think that I watched some of the cartoon that this game was based on. So there was a variety of Sonic games shows all around the same time, but these visuals and characters were based on the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon series, where Sonic was voiced by Urkel, Jaleel White.
No way, I didn't know that.
Isn't that great?
That's great and extremely 90s, and this show is scary.
Yeah, you said nightmare fuel.
Yeah, and Dr. Robotnik's face.
Just the animations.
Yeah, like even in this game, it's just weird.
Gameplay.
Let's describe what's happening, because Nolan, you already mentioned it, but this is it. It's going to feel like Tetris, but then functions very differently strategically from a game like Tetris. You've got blocks falling from the sky. Beans. Pairs of beans. So they're not different shapes, but it's a pair of of colors.
One could say
I'm not gonna say that word. This cast. There's a pair of beans, and they are falling down as things do.
This sounds so exciting.
Riveting.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Then what?
I'm making this game.
Then what?
I'm making this game sound wildly boring, and then you're trying to collect groupings of the same color.
4 of a kind.
That sounds so good.
Or more.
Okay, but you cannot play this game as you would Tetris, because you will quickly lose. So I lost on the very first stage, very first time playing this game, because I was trying to play it like Tetris. But if you play like Tetris, you lose. That's not what this game is.
Yeah.
You can't play like Tetris.
Very different than Tetris in a big way. And here it is.
In one key way.
A noob can understand and be decent at Tetris on their first game.
Correct.
No tutorial. Puyo, you will be trash, stressed immediately. And my understanding is they solve some of this in their AI in future games. But unless you watch the opening cutscene, meaning you don't hit start, and then it shows you that story that I told you about, then it shows you a rough tutorial. And it's okay. I have to be honest. It's an okay tutorial demonstrating, but you have to watch that. Most people won't. And even if you watch it, you'll still be bad.
Because even if you watch it, and I went through and scoured the manual, as I typically do. Even if you do both of those things, it only tells you that you get more points if you make combos. It doesn't tell you necessarily, and I think it needed to be spelled out, that is actually how you win the game. Like, it almost tells you, but it doesn't clearly tell you. And so the key difference here between Tetris and Puyo Puyo is that in Tetris, you're just trying to link up pieces to clear lines. And in Puyo Puyo, you're very strategically trying to make combos, where when you take out a 4 of a kind or more of one color, that then the other beans drop down to meet their other colors and then combo into multiple ones, which sends trash to the other team, which helps you to win.
And also, you're competing in Puyo Puyo against someone else. In Tetris, you're not. You're competing against yourself.
True.
Like, that's kind of a big... Because you'll sit down and play and be like, why are there 2 windows? Whoa, he's going way fast. Whoa, what's all this trash falling? Like, it's just... It's fundamentally different. They're in the same category. And I get the mashup game that the most recent mashup game. It makes sense to me. But this first iteration, vastly different.
The lose condition is also different. This is weird to me, but the lose condition is not your pieces get to the top, just in general. The lose condition is your pieces get to the top in the 3rd row from the left. Did you know that? Yes.
No, I did not know that.
It can get to the top on the outsides. It can get to the top on the right. But you lose when the 3rd row from the left reaches the top.
Why?
I just thought if it touched you lost.
I did
that's
too.
Nonsense.
That's and it gives you a little bit of an out. But if you're already up there, anyways, you're probably
You're
going
done.
to lose.
You're done by then, dude.
Yeah. So I got frustrated at first, admittedly, because it
I did
was not what I expected. I expected Tetris, and then when I had to learn from our community, and honestly, from extra. Like from resources outside of the game, I had to go to Puyo Puyo resources and read literature on how to be good at this game.
PuyoNexus.com?
Yeah, like there's tons
Yeah.
of resources that were passed around this week. And so it was helpful in learning at least the basics some, but at the end of the day, my opinion is that your brain either gets these kinds of things, your brain works in this kind of way, or it doesn't. You can train it up to a certain degree, but I think there's a hard ceiling there that if your brain doesn't think that way, then you're not going to be able to do it.
Why do I feel like Kenny is really good at this game?
No.
He's sitting there quietly.
Wish.
No,
Okay.
he is
I
not
didn't
good
think
at this game.
I feel like given enough time, I could be,
Yeah.
but I was not.
Do you know how I know Kenny is not? Today, while we're recording this episode, we actually released the final retro game challenge from our time together.
Yeah.
And it was a Top Gun, where Kenny challenged us to land.
To land.
And then he tried at the end and died. Before
getting to the landing.
Before getting to the landing. So
That's not why. Listen, if you're gonna reference couch co-op stuff, the only similar game
Yep,
we played,
you were good at.
I whooped everybody at.
the Street
So-
Fighter Tetris battle, whatever it was.
oh, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's
was-
like the same kind of game.
That's
He
why
was like
you
so
think,
good.
That's why you think I was good at
Yeah,
this
that
game,
is
'cause
why
I
I
was
think-
weirdly good at that one.
But no.
Okay.
But this one,
Well-
no.
Very simple rules, very high skill ceiling. I underestimated the talent level needed for the game this week. But there, as you said, there's an entire handbook. And if you don't understand the concept of chaining, then you're a noob and you suck. That's like core practice in this game is the block method is what they call it, and chaining, meaning that you always have one color above a group of three or more, or a group of three below that one that will fall onto it. And that's a simple, I can tell you that it sounds simple, great, very hard to pull off, and it takes a lot of playing. I do think you can get there, Kenny, like to your point, like given enough time.
I think so too.
It's just, yeah, there are strategies and scenarios you can find yourself in that I have to respect players that are really good at this. I watched Carlisle like own this game this week.
You say that, and there is learning, there is strategy. You've got to figure out where to place the right things so that when they fall, that's great. The problem is twofold. One, your strategizing is going to be interrupted by the fact that you've got these
Trash.
falling dead blocks that you have to clear out.
Can we
So
call
you
them
have
what
to
they're
kinda-
actually called?
They're
Trash.
rocks.
No, guys, I don't know why, but they're refugee beans.
Oh, what?
Those
Okay.
great, and
What?
we're not equating trash and
What?
refugee beans, but they are. I don't know why. I don't understand, even with the lore of what's going on.
There's
but
no Sonic's not in the Sonic game. I've stopped trying to understand what's going on in.
we
this
can
game.
just call them trash. I don't feel comfortable calling them refugee beans.
I don't either. I don't like that.
They're yeah.
I'm not making
They're-
this up.
I don't. I believe
No,
you.
I know. You couldn't make that up. That's too random. Like, no one would come up with that. Whatever they are, they're disruptive.
Yes.
They come in and they get in the way of everything you're trying to accomplish. And I almost feel, I know it's not the case, but I almost feel like the computer is sometimes malicious about like
placement.
where they place them.
Oh, yeah, it's intentional.
Like intentionally. Like there may even be some AI
Absolutely.
on like making those as frustrating as possible because there had to be. But regardless, so you're planning but then your plans get foiled by dead blocks that also fall that you don't have control over and have to clear out. And so you almost have to defensively place to be ready to clear out some of those blocks. But then on top of that, it's not just puzzling, because like a Tetris game, it's speeding up as you go as well. So there's also this do it fast and accurately. And so you're doing the puzzling and you're doing the sort of technical implementation at the same time. If it was slower and I was just sort of puzzling my way through it, I feel like I would have picked it up faster. But as soon as it started making me like react and not think, I just immediately got overwhelmed and died so many times. I died so many
Understandable.
times.
The thing that frustrated me most was, I guess it was the speed some, but it was the speed coupled with the opponents getting far too good far too early. I don't know how many opponents you face. I think maybe 10 or so. But quickly they get so. There's 13. There's 13,
including the final boss.
Got you.
Yeah, 12 bosses and then the final one.
And they get that they have slightly different strategies from one another. Like one will try to just clear lines and get small combos to put just a little bit of the trash beans on you, and then some will try to get major combos and drop. Some will play from the sides, whatever. But they get far too good far too early, and I would forgive so much of this if there was an endless mode or an actual practice mode. I know there is an option, but it is not a good option, because it is just like playing the first stage, and there's no, even if you select easy, there's no modifications that you can make to give you endless time to learn and to just get good over time. You have such a limited window to actually practice, and that's just bad form. You need an endless mode that you can just tweak all the settings, and you can do this early on. Like, this is easy to do, and give us some settings so that we could just give me an hour of playing with no speed changes so that I can just learn this game. But there's no option of doing that.
No. And you're right. Even the second AI, the second stage that you fight, double speed. In the first play, I struggled to beat the first one. And then saw the first placement from the second stage, and I was like, bro, like, I've got to go as fast as you. And yeah, it's just it ramps way too quickly. If there was slower paced across the board, then we'll talk. But
and they could have done that with 13 enemies.
Absolutely, that's a lot of stages.
Ramped
yes,
it.
I think so.
They don't ramp it.
Yeah, easily. And Dustin, you talked about even like adjusting difficulty level. I went and turned it down at one point because this game is very hard, and I wanted to just make good progress and like feel like I was getting through it. And at least the easy mode didn't feel wildly easier than the normal mode, which is crazy to me because there's absolutely ways that you could make that be the case. Now, I can't even imagine if the hard and hardest modes actually do live up to those names and are actually difficult, how difficult those could be. But yeah, it's it's very punishing. And the problem is it's punishing. The nature of the game is very swingy, where if you get behind, you're going to have a harder time digging out. Yeah. And so it ends up almost feeling kind of rubber bandy. And there's moments that can be nice because you can be like kind of back and then you dig out and get a big combo and then like swing and get a win. But most of the time it just feels punishing and sort of like artificially difficult. Like either you're good enough that you're going to beat the computer and you're going to just like do it fast because you set up a bunch of good combos, or you're going to just like struggle and have to get lucky.
It's one or the other.
It's real binary.
And you know what's
good enough or you're not.
You know what's not fun about that? A lot. But you can be playing kind of well, and then your opponent can complete one set of chains that they have been setting up and your game can be over. Like,
Your
the amount
screen's
of
full.
trash
Yeah.
that
Yep.
falls is more than half the screen. And then, as a beginner, what are you supposed to do about that? Seconds later, you're done.
Well, as a beginner, you're like, what? What'd I do wrong? Like, I felt like I was chaining. Like,
And-
you have to combo like crazy.
Well, the thing, I heard a lot of Puyo Puyo players talk about how Puyo Puyo, the first one,
I hate
is
saying it.
not where it's at. One of the main complaints
Right.
is because, and I don't know all the technicalities here, but you can't counter. Starting in Puyo Puyo 2, you can counter. So when they do something like that, you're able to, if you're good enough, you're able to counter that so the trash doesn't come down or doesn't come down in the same way. That provides some little back and forth, but you can't control their side. So if they're able to complete those things, then your screen is filled up with trash, and no matter what you do, you can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
And I think like they set an AI that is beatable, but the problem is we didn't get to play real people, and AI is going to always, in truth, be so good at these kinds of games. If you wanted to actually just like turn the computer loose on playing a game like this optimally, like you just wouldn't have any chance. And so, yeah, even that just like second level character who was kind of the first one you play that like builds for big combos, I would be like, finally I'm winning, lost. Every match, he would just like chain and kill me. And even after I got better at it, if you don't feel like you're getting ahead, I don't know. It's a very frustrating game. But in that frustration, I always felt like there was something I could have done better. And it is absolutely a game that you can get good at. And so,
well, yeah, I saw Garlow do it.
Yeah, I was hitting a brick wall, but I kept going back for more.
Yeah, I mean that's puzzle games, right? At least the good ones, they design it in a way that allow for failure, and then you jump right back in. To your point, maybe the game is more balanced around 2-player, and I mean it would be because you're both, especially at our skill level, like you would just there's more back and forth probably in that.
The trick is finding somebody who's about at your skill.
Yeah.
Because if you find somebody that's slightly better than you, they're still going to just win every game, and it's not going to be fun. And yeah, if you don't have a good ramp on your enemies, you're just going to feel oppressed the whole time. Yeah. I don't know. It's tricky.
I want to know, honestly, candidly, how far you got in the game this week. What stage did you get to? What stage did you complete?
3.
Really?
Yeah.
Completed?
Yeah. No.
I don't remember.
I got to stage 3.
Got to stage 3. Okay. I don't remember, and it only happened once, which it was, but it was 4 or 5 that I got to one time. But I spent 89% of my time just playing level 2 over and over and over
sure.
again.
Level
that
3
is the
felt like
big
level
jump.
2, and I assumed the rest of the game was like that, so I was like, oh, okay. I beat it.
No. But I got to 6, so I got further, and I got consistently to. But 6, it's already an unfair ramp, and then 6 is just a whole nother level where like I never got close to beating, like just because here's the thing, like I started to learn, still wasn't ever good at it, but once multiple layers of those trash beans come down, I have to like restart, and you're restarting at half of the level filled, and it's kind of just no go from there. So yeah, I think you can. I think most people can probably, after enough tries, luckily make their way, if not through strategy, through stage 1. But how Kenny and how we're talking about here, stage 2 is where you can't. You're not going to by luck get through this.
Aged. I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
Okay.
Puzzle games age well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In general, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because they're not reliant on graphics.
Graphics.
They're not
Who
reliant
cares?
on
Right.
Yeah, so many
The
elements.
game needs to be fun. Period.
This could come out on a phone as a mobile game today for the first time, and people would be like, oh, cool, that's great, and it's a thing I'm going to do.
Is this game more like, I know it's not binary like this, but is it more like Dr. Mario or is it more like Tetris or neither?
Good question. I think, okay, at the beginning of the week, I would have said Dr. Mario, period. Don't ask me again.
Because of the different colored beans and different colored,
Double,
yeah.
two colors to each one. You rotate, right?
I still think that.
Okay, I don't. I do see the Tetris marriage. I see because of the speed of the game and how it's fundamentally about thinking ahead and built in Tetris. You're thinking, how can I get Tetris? Meaning, how can I get 5 blocks in a row? Or 5 lines in a row. And so you have to plan that out. It's much simpler planning, and you're fighting more against yourself and fumbling through moving the blocks and the speed of everything. This one, you're still planning ahead. You're having to kind of worry about the strategy that they're taking, but then you're planning out, okay, I'm going to leave this section open for a blue one. I think more Tetris than Dr. Mario.
And
Interesting.
I do not know. You two know, and if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know that these kinds of puzzle games are not necessarily my forte. I haven't liked Tetris. I haven't liked Dr. Mario. I don't know if I've liked any of these falling puzzle piece games. And however, I do completely agree that they have the tendency to age better than other games that are their contemporaries. However, they can still age poorly on one area, the music. If the music was bad then, it could be bad now, or if it's on outdated hardware, which of course it would be, then maybe that's aged poorly.
Yeah.
I do want your opinion here about the music. One thing that I would say that's a boon in its favor, makes me want to play Hades. There are a variety of tracks.
I love the track. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
The first one.
Okay.
And the title one. Like, I think it's really well done. It does have the Genesis sound chip, little stink on it, but y'all know I like that. I grew up with that sound, and so it's nostalgic. I was kind of surprised actually by the music overall.
My understanding is that there are, like, the stages are clumped, so maybe you've only heard 1 or 2 songs, but once you, like, I think every 4 stages or so, 3 or 4 stages or so, it changes the track. I think the 1 versus 2 players has its own unique track. I think practice mode has its own unique track. You've got that intro track that has that, like, bass, like, doo-doo, like it.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a variety, so I would certainly say that.
I'm with you guys. It sounds solid. The problem is its competition is games like Tetris that are so iconic musically that I have a hard time not making that the bar. And this was good. It's not something I will sing outside of the game, and maybe that's just because I won't play enough of it.
Give him a microphone.
But I don't. I also
he's at karaoke. He's like, "Hey, do y'all have
he's like,
Mean
y'all
Bean
Tetris
Machine track 3?"
I would 100%. I want to know you guys' preferences or feelings about Doom music, because it changes. The music changes when things are going south.
Doom music. I thought you were talking about the game.
Is it a good call, adding emotion, or
Kenny? You don't like it because it makes you panic.
Yeah, he definitely.
I hate it. I hate it.
I like it. It needs to be there.
I mean,
there need to be stakes. You need to feel it. You're gonna feel it anyways. You're up there. You're done for. But yeah, I fully support that. I don't need to be singing happy things at that moment.
What I did like, and it has to be this way, is that if you are able to work yourself out of that doom you called, then it does revert back, so it's not just stuck on that panic mode. I mean, no, I don't like it, but I think it works for that for sure. But it's not near as peaceful as Tetris.
No, Tetris is chill.
No,
vibes.
you need a soundtrack that's got vibes. You need to get into the mode and just like go on games like this.
Graphically, I think honestly it's a mixed bag, because I think the character sprites, the square portraits of these characters are done pretty well. They've got shadowing, they've got
Agreed.
detail, there's characterization, so when they're about to lose, which you'll rarely see,
Yep.
they panic and
Sweating.
sweat
Fun
starts.
animations.
They make
as they're
for really
reacting.
good
Yeah.
Discord emotes.
They do. But when they're about to beat you, they're like cheesing. And so
Yeah.
I thought those were good, but I thought most everything
Agreed.
else was mid-level to bad. I don't know.
I quite enjoyed the actual playing feel. Like it's kind of like rocks
You know, it's
around the
underground.
edge.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it goes like underground, which they don't explain well. But the look of it and the beans themselves, like they have faces. Like I think it works.
They have
There's a charm
eyes.
to it. Well, yeah, they have faces.
Eyes
the
make a
mouths are hidden.
face?
Yes.
You heard it here.
They definitely in this first. I know Puyo Puyo existed before this game, 2 years I believe in Japan, but like they definitely put in a graphical charm that would last. It's like very recognizable. It's their own thing, and I liked the graphics overall. Thought it was a solid Genesis.
I think I'd lean a little more into Nolan's camp here. It's clean, easy to follow, nice visuals, appealing. There's a few things that could have used a little more, I don't know, sprucing up. But overall, what you want in a game like this is clarity. And it was clear what blocks were coming up. It was clear where stuff was falling and how that looked. And those had a little bit of character and appeal. Kind of cool animations when your stuff connected and then fell. And so overall, I think they did pretty good.
Kenny, this will be the last time that I remind you. You'll have to remind yourself in the future, but you have a question to ask us?
I do. Replayability. Let's talk.
Easy on this one. Interesting. I feel like puzzle games, that's an easy replayability because it's not like you
Yeah, I
completed a
agree.
story. It's like it's super puzzle games in general, super easy to come back to.
I agree. However,
Yep.
with the first entry in a series that has improvements and all the ones after,
Interesting.
tough call
Insight.
because
Because why return to this one when you can return to a better one?
to even the second one, from what I hear.
Well, hold on. But second what? Because it's not a second Dr.
Is there a
Mean
second
Bean
Mean Bean
Green
machine?
machine. I don't. No. This is
Right.
the only one.
I just mean the next Puyo game that came out in
Right.
the States.
So, but that's a different thing, right?
Different,
So,
for
like,
sure.
so
Yeah, it's a different
sort
game.
of.
Fair.
Well,
Okay.
no, certainly. Because in that regard, Nolan's saying, don't come back to this one. It's not worth coming back
Right.
to because you
Well,
can
hold
play a
on.
different
I'm saying all that.
IP
Sure, but-
entirely.
But you opened up this whole podcast. Ooh, I said it accidentally. Walking us through why this is in fact just Puyo Puyo.
Well,
So it's a fair argument to make.
okay.
Oh no, I agree. I'm just saying that it's that then means that this is not returnable.
It's inherently more replayable than most games because it's a puzzle game.
Okay. Yes.
Most games, when we finish the week, unless it's like a big JRPG or story or has me hooked, I usually don't think I will pick it up again. I might
No, you won't.
here.
I don't think
He won't, but it
I
is
don't think I
easier
will,
to
but
do.
I want to.
Immediately, I don't think I
okay,
will.
the want is there. I got you. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's something about just like pick it up, play it. I'll immediately get frustrated and put it down again.
Yeah.
But I will think that I was going to be better than I was last time, and it's easy and accessible.
I don't think the game's as deep as you want it to be.
The thing that is nice, if you like this game and want more, here's two options. You can go the Sonic route and actually meet the blue titular character if you want to, because there are plenty of Sonic games still being released today. And if you want to go the puzzle route, as we mentioned, you've got plenty of games in the Puyo Puyo series. I think the most recent one is Tetris 2 or something. Like it came out in
Tetris 2 on the Switch.
Came out in 2020. That's what you're playing, Nolan?
That's what I'm
What you've
playing.
been playing?
Made by Sonic Team. Quality. It's got an adventure, like a story mode with a little story. It's
No
it's cool.
Sonic in it.
Actually, I think Sonic is in it, and
That's
not as a
amazing.
character, but just like in some sort of free play mode. I think his character model is somewhere in the game.
That's fun. And worth doing. They should do shout outs in some small way to
Something.
Mean Green Bean Machine, but I think
They
that
might.
they might. Who knows?
Who knows?
So two different branches if you want to go that direction. If you do want a copy of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine or Dermabim, is that what we're doing?
Dermbim. Yeah.
Dermabim? Then you can get a loose or used copy for $18,
Okay.
or
fair.
you can get a new one for $100.
Also pretty fair. A new Genesis game for $100, not bad.
Final thoughts.
At the end of each and every one of our episodes, we determine whether or not the game gets our vote for New Game Plus status, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down. It does require 2/3 of the vote to swing one way or the other. Nolan, what do you think about Durgabum?
Dermbum is a very interesting title. I didn't know it existed. I don't agree with giving Robotnik a game, like commercially, marketing wise. What were they thinking to do that and base it on the cartoon
Why
as
not?
well? Because it's Sonic, and that's what people know, and we all know that Sega did not do a good job against Nintendo in the console game. So like they needed to lean into Sonic in every regard. Don't interrupt me. The game itself, I think, can be experienced, unfortunately, in 1 to 2 levels. I think that after that, from what everyone is saying and from my personal experience, is quite samey in that the AI ramps really hard, and even though if you get good at it, I don't think you'll have that much fun, because all it is getting a big chain of like 5 or more, and you win. Boom, their screen fills up all the way. It's quick, it's over. Like I find that flawed in the design. Now I can give them grace though. It's the first one, and this was just copy paste Puyo Puyo, so I'll call this the first one, right? And so I'm sure it gets better, and it obviously does in the modern day. But even back then, I think it got better quickly. This is my first no New Game Plus of the pool party, and I'm sad about it. I really am. But I'm glad I played it, though. I'm not angry. I'm not upset with it. I am fascinated with it because of just its existence. I just don't think I can quite recommend it to people in 2023 with all these other great puzzle games.
That is one no. Nolan, I am not too far from you. I began the week raging. In fact, I actually dropped commentary this week after the first couple of days of playing in our commentary channel because I was not happy. I got better, but like I said earlier in the episode, I think the way this game is designed, being the first one, there's a ceiling. And it will limit you hard. And there's no way to really learn in the game and get better because of the complaints that I've had. And so I think you've got to go outside of the game. I'm not opposed to the idea of the design, the chains and the combos. I like that twist from the Tetris Dr. Mario formula, but it is not perfected here. They needed to do some other things to make it more accessible and enjoyable. This is a game that I am not mad that we played, but I am not giving it my vote for New Game Plus status. There's certainly many better iterations of this no New Game Plus status for me. Kenny,
I'm genuinely curious, despite 2 out of 3 already. But what do you like this game?
Yeah, that's a really confusing question.
Just for him in general.
It is.
Sure.
In general, just asking for an opinion about anything confuses me. I am doing something this episode I don't rarely do, and that is I'm changing my answer. I came in planning to give this game New Game Plus.
Oh.
I was very frustrated this week. but thought that there was a lot of redeemable things and interesting things, and
Yeah.
I think there is, and I think the serious potential, like you've mentioned, is very good. But the more we talked about it,
The more
the
mad.
more some of the fundamental gameplay flaws of sort of just like difficulty and how they handle it and whether or not that's okay just sort of started bothering me more and more. And so I love the concept of this game. Yes, it's hard. I want to be good at it. There are some good things about it, but I don't think this is the one folks should play.
Yeah.
I think you guys are right, and I don't often flip-flop, but the more we talk about it and the more I thought about it, the less I could decide, even though I want to and like it and respect a lot of what it did, that it's not worth it. So no,
We made
no
him
Nukem
flop.
Plus.
Hey, that
You flipped my flop.
That means that Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is the first game since Spyro Orange the Cortex Conspiracy to not
Is that our longest stretch?
be New Game Plus certified.
To be clear, this did not ruin the pool party. I'm still on that boat. It's
Well-
fine.
well-
This was just part of it. This was a rock, and we hit something in the
And
water.
just to clarify, I'm totally with you, but this is in between two pools, you know?
Yeah, I
but we
know.
still, it's a part of the summer pool party. It's still a
Yeah.
part of all of that. But it still is in line with what Mother 3 set of like kind of weird and different, right?
Yeah.
So-
we've
Yeah,
had
it's
some-
quirky and unique.
Here we
haven't
are.
played anything like this.
All right, on YouTube, the poll, 47% said yes, it's worth playing today. That's nearly half. 17%
high.
said no.
Wow,
Right,
big.
that is high. 17 said no, 17%, and 36% have never played. That is a high yes.
I'm worried now
Yeah.
that they're gonna come for us. Do people love this game?
Here's our
I
commentary. We had many people play along this week.
have no idea.
Way Out Gaming said, I did not submit the game of the week, but I wish that I had. MBM is one of my favorite puzzle games to return to. This game has gotten a lot of divisive takes this week, so as a fan of the game, I'd like to defend it a bit. The problem with MBM is that it relies on a sharp difficulty curve that can alienate new players fairly quickly. Yes. This game
Yes.
takes some NES hard practice to fully grasp. And I dare say, if you're
No,
not a
that's
fan
a
of
different category.
if you're not a fan of similar puzzle games like Tetris, Bejeweled, or Columns, this game isn't going to offer you anything more. If, however, you enjoy puzzle games and can overcome the learning curve and master the combo system, then this is a solid puzzle game with excellent replay value. Is it perfect?
You're a
Hardly.
superhero.
Is it frustrating? Absolutely. Is it fun? Definitely. TLDR version, in the words of Nolan the Wise Sage, get good.
Okay.
No!
Okay.
Don't agree
No,
with it.
I stand by that wisdom, but it doesn't apply to a game that has fundamentally a little broken. That they,
Yeah.
like NES hard. Like for example, that applies to games that are just generally challenging, not they were made incorrectly.
Right. That is a good differentiation there. Noodles said this game is simple and potentially quite repetitive, but it has a high skill ceiling. And funnily enough, me and my friends spent many hours in the PvP mode of this game. I've never engaged with the single player mode, but I have such fond memories of playing this ridiculous game with my friends and having a blast. Not every game has to have depth to be great. NGP from me. P.S. I don't know if it's great or terrible, but I kind of love the PvP music.
Kenny, I would whoop you at PvP on this game, by the way.
Probably.
I think I beat both of y'all.
I thought you were going to.
If
what?
we
What?
I got further.
if we played
you had more
for no, you'd win. You'd win.
I don't know. You beat the crap out of me.
If
in
there-
another Street Fighter.
That's true. If there was a puzzle only mode where it didn't get fast and technical,
Yeah.
and then you gave me a month to figure it out,
I'm not doing
I
any
think
of
I
that.
could take you.
Bro Jim said, Mean Bean Machine is something I unfairly hate on principle. Hey, me too. I don't like games that get reskinned with famous IPs to sell more copies. But then, truth be told, I've played it many times on the various iterations of Sonic and Sega compilations that I bought to play Sonic 3 yet again. And I always think maybe this time I'll actually like Mean Bean Machine and Sonic Spinball. Surely they must be good. They keep getting included. but I don't like them. Again, now that I know I can just play a better version of Puyo Puyo, I'm going to stop forcing myself. Maybe someday I'll want to read the How to Play Puyo Puyo book and join the Legion, but that day ain't today.
There's a book you can buy like on Amazon.
I think
Probably.
Bro Jim is just, but that is true. That like to get good at this game, you have to study.
You have to join the cult. Yes.
There's a cave at the top of a mountain. There's some ancient texts.
Yeah, there's
you
a monk up there. It's just Carbuncle.
Yeah, there's a monk who, you got to beat him first, head to head.
Well, let me clarify. Carbuncle is that little star-like creature?
Yeah,
it's not that little
reoccurring character
in Puyo Puyo. Do you know its name in Mean Bean Machine?
I don't want to know its name in Mean Bean Machine.
Kenny would like it. Has been. So, has been. Finally, Grinch said, I played this game for the first time over 10 years ago in my attempt to get the Platinum Trophy for the Genesis collection on PS3. There you have to beat the last level in order to collect the game's trophy. I spent several hours and nights playing and ultimately had to rely on a password to mean bean me to the last stage. Still, it was very tough and I didn't think it was fun, but I kept coming back to it until I got the trophy. This week, there was no trophy to get and I played along without passwords. My skill level did not change through the years, and so I got to stage 5 before I checked my phone and the clock showed 1:30 in the night. Even though losing over and over again was frustrating, I kept coming back and trying to beat the AI. 2 days later, I realized that this actually makes it NGP for me. It's a very hard game, and I don't think I'll ever beat it, but even when I thought that it is too much after 5 minutes, it made me play for hours to come, and I'm sure I will come back to it again.
I mean, it echoes some of the things that I kind of had experientially. Like I hit hard walls, but just kept playing because it feels like you should be able to, and it feels like you can get better, and it's hard, but it like tantalizes you. I don't know. I don't understand it, but
sorry, am I understanding that they have a trophy system on where they play it on? Like a game on
the
Xbox or something?
Genesis collection on the PS3.
Okay,
I think it's
putting
made it to many
trophies
collections.
and achievements for retro games. That's good preservation. I like that. There's a retro achievements website that does that for like emulators, but that's cool.
So we're in the minority, it seems, this week.
Guess so, which is so crazy to me.
I'm comfortable with everyone liking this game.
I'm fine with it,
though.
yeah.
Like, I respect this game and had moments of fun. I just also was very frustrated and then kind of just, again, I changed my vote.
Yeah.
Do we need an official NGP game coordinator? We can come up with a better title for it later. Someone in our community that hosts competitive competitive competitions with our game of the week when it's games like this or others, and host them and challenges and
A game master.
All it
Arena.
would do is remind me that I'm worse at video games than everyone else in the universe.
You don't have to play.
And I don't need that.
You don't have to play, nor would you show up to play. There are plenty of other people in the community that would do that. So
Winner gets a free month of $5 patron.
we're accepting applications for our podcast. All right. For now, we're going to set aside Darkananga, and we are going to not randomly select from our massive retro master list, boys, because it is time again for a Patreon poll.
Drop the beat.
Back in the water.
After this pool, there will only be one more this summer.
No!
So
That's sad.
if you are not yet a part of our Patreon, where you can be a part of our Patreon pools to conclude our summer pool party with an epic splash, visit us at patreon.com/NGP podcast. There's still time to join.
One more.
We have games submitted like Ben Wilson is still submitting Foxanadu and The Guardian Legend, and I think Ben has been doing this for years.
For years, I kind of want Ben to get his moment in the sun.
We've got, this is going to make you feel older, Kenny.
No.
From Super Gamer Guy, Keiko-san, Tim of the T, and Down, DWN, we've got Halo 3.
3?
Is
What?
retro hurts my heart.
And your lower back. And from
From carrying you.
from...
Oh!
Like, are you talking to me while
Master
playing me on
Chief.
Xbox with a little mic on your headset?
This
That's
mic
what you sound
sucked.
like right now. From almost everybody else, we've got Pikmin. I mean, that's obviously hyperbole, but like everybody, there's so many Pikmins in here.
They
probably a good
bandwagoned around Pikmin. Interesting.
From your submissions and our fourth pool of the summer, we are randomizing now. For the next 7 days, we are going to be playing, how do I slowly reveal this to you? A game that is an action role-playing game. An ARPG.
I am in.
One of its tracks, if not more than one, made it on one of our PlayStation playlists.
Oh?
It was a game developed and published, listen, by Square.
Confused. I have no idea.
But action RPG, right?
Right, right.
That's like, what?
Right.
What?
That's
what?
where I'm confused too.
Because
I think it's
it
mislabeled, Kenny. I don't
the
think
game
it's
involves
Diablo
real-time
style.
sword-based combat in a 3D environment and voiced-over dialogue?
What are you talking about?
I've been interested in playing this for a long time. There were 2 people that submitted it, Replicated Flame and Toby OP or Tobiop. The game that we'll be playing for the next 7 days for our fourth Patreon poll of the summer is Brave Fencer Musashi.
Okay. Yeah, so we were confused by the action role-playing description because that's not Diablo. Like, Diablo is what you think
Oh,
when
is
you think
that
ARPG.
what y'all's
Yeah.
dumb brains?
No, they just mislabeled this game. And
No,
I will
it's
come
an
with the
RPG
heat on the episode.
No, it is an action
there's-
RPG.
I don't just think of Diablo style games. Like in my mind, even some of the Zelda games are action RPGs. Ocarina of Time is an action RPG.
It's an
You heard it
adventure
here
game,
first.
but you're wrong.
May-
I am
Maybe
excited.
an adventure game is better, but like
I'm excited to play this.
I know very little about it, but
Same.
since people have started submitting it to the Patreon poll, and there's been submissions for a while now, it's caught my interest. And then hearing one of the tracks on our playlist, man, this is find a copy of Brave Fencer Musashi, played along with the 3 of us and at least Replicated Flame and Tobiop this next week.
If you have been a fan of the show for a while, you need to join Discord. That's where it's happening. That's where our community is. That's where we spend our time all week playing the game of the week and other games. So go to discord.gg/newgameplus to get the invite.
you can also support the show by heading over to patreon.com/NGP podcast, and you'll be joining folks like our newest patron this week, Kenny's Beard.
What?
I have no idea, but I will let somebody.
Somebody.
Identity theft is not actually a joke, so I don't know how I feel about
You're
this.
pretty familiar with them, right?
You can also join our list of producer level supporters, including Adam, Alex, Marley, and Anton, Ben, Big Dude, Brunt, DH Bowser, Ellis, Fishy, Francesca, Gimbin, J. Robert, Jade, Jake, Jared, Joey, Jordan, Justin, Clid, Nicknack, Corey, Levi, Maxima, Not Enough Dog, Pedro, Sajan, Shauna, Subsonic Demon, Tazzelhoff, Thomas, Turtle Speed, Unbedavable, Siegfried, and Zion. Of course, huge thank you to our director level supporters who truly go above and beyond. Bro Jim, Daniel, Garlisle, and Super Hypered. Y'all are the best, and everybody else, get with it.
You can follow us on our social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. Links are in the show notes. Listen directly on any podcast provider of your choice. Make sure you subscribe so that you are the first to get new NGP episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a kind rating and review. Our video episode was edited by our friend Dylan. Our audio episode was edited and produced by our friend Dan Willett. Join us next week as we play Brave Fencer Musashi. Until then, I'm still has-been.
I'm still stacking up those combos.
I'm still looking for Sonic.
And this has been New Game Plus.